We are going to make it round, but you have to protect the midline. So, like that. Then we go to the other side. Protect the midline. After the harvesting, the lower third is round, also the middle and the upper third. However, the top of the head is flat, and we shall keep it as it is now. Step 2. We are going to make the lines again. So we redesigned the lines. Okay, step 4. We are making now the inferior lip. I take a little bit of clay, do this. Think about the sausage, as I told you before. And now it's a little bit too long. Just that. Mind this line. The lower part of the lower lip is supposed to touch that line. Press a little bit, and it's done. Step 5. We are making now the superior lip. First, we do with a little bit of clay something like a curbstone. And then you have to mind that line, because the top of this curbstone should touch that line. And then you press. it has the same length as the inferior lip. Well, now we are going to the refinements. We shall make the philtrum, with the finger. And then we are going to press and now I'm going to make the vermilion. Remember, it is flat. And now we are approaching the refinements in the lower lip. Remember that the lower lip goes under the upper lip, near its corners. Now we are also making the line between the two lips. It goes like that, and then goes that, and then goes that. Well, then you have to integrate the lip, sometimes removing a little bit. Well, now we are going on with the refinements in the lower third, where we want to integrate the structures. For example, filling the gaps with a little bit of clay. We don't need this line anymore. We are also integrating the chin. So we are almost ready to go to the next step. So I decided to resect the dorsum. So as you see, I got an open roof. So we are going to close the open roof with 3 gestures. This, the upper part, this one for the middle part, and this one for the tip. That's all. Okay, now we are going to make the refinements, starting with the nostrils. Use your thumbs, it's a good way to do it. And then you make it deeper. Like that. And now comes a sheen implant, like that. You do this triangle, as you're used to do in a rhino, and do like that. Right? And also you do another piece like this, and you make the columella. We're now adding a little bit of clay, and then we do this, and we detach a little bit of the alae. And integrate it. Step 9. We are going to make the orbits. So use your thumbs like that. Now we are making the iris using this. And the pupil. So remember that the upper board of the lower eyelid should touch the inferior border of the iris. And now you press and integrate that to the face you are making. Okay, now step 12, the upper eyelid. So we do something like that. This is going to be the upper eyelid. But it's very important now that you should not stick it in a parallel shape to the face as you did in the lower lid. This is supposed to be like that. It's in an oblique position, like this. A little bit thinner, and goes like that. So it's important to keep in mind that doing the upper lid, you should not stick that in a parallel way, not in this way, but in a that way. Okay, we are dealing now with the step 13. I just afforded humpy nose for this guy. The mailer is still missing, and now I'm going to work on this stage. I'm going to add the orbital rim. So remember, this is the upper lid that I had just placed in an oblique way, and now comes this. This is the orbital rim. So have a look. It comes like that. So when the orbital rim comes, the upper lid sulcus is made. Okay, so now I have to integrate that. So you see, it brings life to the eye. So, once the orbital rim is done, now it's time to go on and finish the forehead. So then comes more clay here. And here. So I'm going to add as much clay as I need to make a forehead. Some wrinkles go okay. and then we'll go back later for refinements. Okay, we are dealing now with the step 15, I mean the forehead. So once you finished the upper orbital rim, now you have to complete the forehead. So you have to add a thin piece of clay, and now you integrate that in the forehead, however, not going upper than the hairline. So let's go to the eyebrow. Okay, now you have to integrate. So it's important to press and stretch. Press and stretch. So you do like this. You can also do some small retouches as you need. And here also you may finish the sulcus. It depends if it's a young or an old guy. And here to the lateral part for the tempora, you use this part of the bone and do like this. And go on. Until you have it done. So we are going to make the hair. It's our step 16. Remember to watch the hairline. And then press by the hairline. And then eu vou usar mais de um instrumento. So you can scratch with the needle. It depends what kind of hair you want your creation to get. Can be something like that. Okay, you have gotten the last step in our workshop. Congrats. So, if you wanted to make a young guy, that's done. If you want to make an elderly guy, so that's what I'm going to teach you now. How to age your sculpture. However, there is a third possibility, especially for my colleagues, plastic surgeons. You can make half young and half old. That's also very interesting and enjoyable. So, but you know, from the beginning of our workshop, I always tried to make you enhance your artistic perception. In other words, trying to make your creative job as free as possible. But now, because we are going to make aging, I'm going also to do some kind of Cartesian comments on aging. So, something about physiopathology that's going to be helpful here at the atelier and also at your operating room. Okay? Let's do that. Oh, meanwhile, don't forget to take a picture of your artwork now. It's important because then you are going to get a reference about before and after aging. Okay, once you have done your nice picture, let's start about the wrinkles. Okay, everybody remember the longer lines. So just make superficial wrinkles like that. Try to make it a little bit irregular. Easy, no problem. Then we are going to make folds. The nasolabial fold is one of the most important ones. So here something is different. Remember that when you have a fold, it's not only a crease, it's something more than that. You have a fixed point beneath and sort of sagging skin over it. So let's make the nasolabial fold like that, but something else. You keep the needle as it would be the deep adhesion of the fold. And now you press the tissues over your needle. You see? That's like nature has done in aging faces. You have a fixed adhesion in the subcutaneous, and now comes skin over it. So it becomes much more natural. We are making a shadow. We can make it deeper if you want, but always with this idea that making some kind of sagging over the depression you created. You are going to remember me in your next nasolabial filling at your office, hopefully. Well, so you do the nasolabial fold, then you make some sort of integration. And now let's go to the marionette crease. The same way. Oh, by the way, this is an unfinished guy, but I just made his, teeth in a aged way. So now the marionette groove, you do something like that, but the principle is the same. You make the tissue go over the fixed point. So it becomes much more natural. And then you can add some wrinkles here. These wrinkles also are very interesting. You can do here, and you do some more here. Well, that's done. Okay, now I'd like to make some comments about jaws. Dr. Mendelssohn has explained very well about the ligament, the jaw ligament. So we know that it comes from deep below the platysma muscle. However, what we are going to do is try to represent what the jaws are in our frontal or lateral view. So we are going to add a little bit of tissue here because it's a volumetric displacement. So you have to integrate this clay here, just making it heavy. Remember, this is an unfinished guy with a big nose. And you remember from the workshop's booklet what we told you about the eggs representation of aging faces. And now you add some sort of jowls in this poor creature. And now you go on and remake the wrinkles over the jaws and also the nasolabial fold. Gosh. Okay. Okay. Done. So now we are talking a little bit about the eyelids. Well, in the lower eyelids, I would suggest you to add some fat pads. You can make it beforehand and just add. Oh, better. Okay, so you make the fat pads. Let's put a little bit more. There are many things that you can do for your artwork look aged. So you just can add this eyelid fat pads, always integrating. You remember from your booklet, press and stretch. And then you come again with the needle and you are going to make the small wrinkles again. And here is the guy ready to go to your office and have an eyelid job. Okay, something like that. Okay. Well, when we talk about the upper eyelid aging, that is a little bit more complicated, because you see, what makes in our sculptures the eyelid sulcus is the orbital rim that you did and place it there. So remember, when you get an older guy, you're not going to have a clear, usually not have a clear upper eyelid sulcus. So you have to make it less apparent, you know, adding a little bit of clay too. Have a look. And then you can do this. You see? A lot of skin from the upper lid dropping, sagging over his eyelashes or something like that. No eyelashes, I'm afraid. Oh. Very, very old. Okay. In this case, it's also very interesting. You make deeper wrinkles here. Yeah, something like that. Let's make here, correct this. And also you can go to the globular area, making some procerus and corrugator, some frontal wrinkles. Here. Well, I'm exaggerating a little bit because I'm not sure if it's very clear on our video. So I make a little bit extra wrinkles. But anyway, the idea is to show how to make it. So, also it would be very interesting you make a receding hairline, you know, it's a younger guy hair. You should put his hair backwards. No more nice hair, you see? No more, it's gone. Well, okay, go like that. Okay. A little bit of hair like this, you know, could be. Putting some age spots, you know, do like that. And my God, some age spots in the guy. He's going to be very ugly anyway. Here, age spots. So you can use your creativity and make many things to make this guy even uglier. Okay. Yeah, I think something like that, something like that. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, but now something else that I guess is very, very interesting and also useful for us. Remember, aging brings also some sort of atrophy, especially in the upper lip. So what's going to happen in the upper lip? You know, the vermilion is going to be shorter. So press it. So you're going to have less vermilion. It's going to be shorter. But also the upper lip is going to be longer. So you have to stretch it a bit over the lips, over the teeth, actually. You see? So, oh my God. Oh, poor guy. Anyway. So I have to make again the filter. No problem. But so, this guy got a longer upper lip, less vermilion here, and also some strange teeth. So, okay, I hope you got an idea about how to age your artwork. Okay, let's go back to the presentation and finish our workshop. Thank you, guys.